So there's something that I don't look at a ton when it comes to Shiba Inu, or frankly most assets in the space, but it can be a really good indicator of whether we're going to see some downside or whether we're going to see some upside. And what's interesting is with Shiba Inu, right now it's showing that we may in fact have a nice little upside push here. Now, this isn't a guarantee or financial advice, and this is all taking place before we actually even have the conclusion of our FOMC meeting today. But this is something that historically has been very good for Shiba Inu. And I also want to talk about this major disconnect that is happening with price and Shiba Inu holders. So if you guys are new or haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that bell again. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So just looking at Shiba Inu currently, we're still floating around this 40180 through 40183, not really making a whole lot of move yet. Again, the market is just quietly waiting and anticipating this FOMC meeting conclusion. What is Jerome Powell going to say? Is this good for the economy? That's really the big question, right? It could frankly be something that causes a little fear, which I think is actually kind of baked into the market right now. But it may also be something that can trigger excitement and buying. And that's exactly what we need in the crypto market. Is we need a little bit of buying. We need some of that economic energy to start flowing back in, because that's when assets start to run wild. Now, what's interesting is there's something I don't look at terribly often in terms of Shib or other assets in the space, and this is actually Bollinger Bands. Now, why this is important is this could be a good indication of whether assets are going to have a violent throwback the opposite direction, whether that's to the downside or whether that's to the upside. And what we've seen is basically since, all the way on January 19th, actually coincidentally, the Trump-Melania meme coin weekend, right? Shiba Inu has actually been testing the bottom of this Bollinger Band. It's been slowly but surely chugging along the bottom of this. Now, we did officially get our breach on this just 2 days ago. This happened on Sunday. And what tends to happen is when we do get these sort of breaches, we tend to have violent throwbacks in the opposite direction. Sometimes it's over the course of a couple days. Sometimes it happens right away. But if we take a look back here, for example, actually on Saturday, January 18th, Shiba Inu actually breached this top range of its Bollinger Band. Violent throwback to the downside, right? Rewind here. Back on January 5th, we tested this, right? Violent throwback to the downside. And actually we tested the bottom here on the 14th, violent throwback to the upside, right? And this can actually be tracked back on December 20th. Nice little throwback back to the upside. Again, all the way back here in the start of December. And you guys get the point, right? We see this time and time again, chopping up and down, testing the bottom and the top. Now, right? What's interesting here is the Bollinger Band hasn't separated from here. All right. What it's showing is that it's not suggesting a violent move to the downside. Now, understand that we're below the middle, we're below the signal line here, and I want to see Shiba Inu actually get a violent throwback back above 4021. That would be a very strong move for Shiba Inu, and again, something like that may be a good indication for retail. You might see a lot of FOMO start to hit Shiba Inu in a big way during that time, and not even to talk about the fact that Shiba Inu is once again setting a new all-time high in terms of holders. Whales are continuing to accumulate, blah, 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 blah. All the same things we talk about time and time again. Now, this is where things get kind of confusing, because I've seen people complain, oh, Shib isn't back at its all-time high yet. The price is, still down, 75%, 76% from its prior all-time high. That's bad, blah, blah, blah. And I really don't understand this mindset. So if you're looking to accumulate more, would you rather have the price be above the prior all-time high, or would you have it be below the all-time high, significantly below it, right? And I would say I'd rather have price significantly below it. When we look at, the reason I look at fundamentals the way that I do, I look so deep at these fundamentals is because they again, like I've talked about earlier in many other videos, they precede moves. So if you have good fundamentals, but you still have such a huge discount on price compared to the prior all-time high, what are you complaining about? Because if you're a blue chip asset, if you've been around the space and you have staying power, the likelihood of you hitting a new all-time high is very high. Most assets in the space don't hit a new all-time high. All right. There is some confusion with that, right? But if you're gaining ground, if you're taking steps forward, which Shiba Inu is, you have a much higher likelihood of once again hitting a new all-time high. And obviously we've had discussions about when that may be. Again, I think that March through May time target is a very good point for Shiba Inu to set a new all-time high. But then right now, we are seeing discounts. This is the time to accumulate and build your position and continue to buy and buy and buy. Now, as always, people can do what they want. I'm not telling you what to do, right? But there's this huge disconnect in the mindset between, people that just want to see this run, and then they're complaining that they didn't accumulate enough when price was in fact cheap. I still believe Shiba Inu is going to be probably the best top 20 performing asset in this market cycle. I've said this since the bear market cycle. People seem to forget what happens later in the market cycle for Shib. Okay, even what we did back here in what was that? February through March shouldn't have happened. All right, and that might sound strange, but when I was doing TA and talking about where I thought Shiba Inu would stop, I thought it was going to be right around 4019 through 4020. You can go back, check the videos. I know people that followed me on the channel since that time know that that was my target, but we got something a little different. We got a little bit of a retail surge, which normally doesn't happen at that time. And that obviously had to do with BTC setting a new all-time high before the halving, which has never happened before. And it caused a little bit of retail excitement, a little bit of adoption to take place, right? So if you actually eliminate this top here for Shib, right? If Shib got only up about to here and started correcting down, what does Shiba Inu look like it's doing? It's setting higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. The only reason people say Shiba Inu is performing bad, well, one, because it hasn't hit an all-time high yet. Two, is because we had this big surge back here in March that kind of threw things off just a little bit. All right. So that's what I really wanted to share with you guys. Don't get disconnected by what this actually means. This is discount time, but understand that discount times, they don't stick around forever. And the more and more holders there are for Shiba Inu, the more and more supply is removed from exchanges, the more and more whales accumulate, the faster price is going to move when it does. So I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below here. Are you building your position? Are you excited and set to go? Or are you just sitting and complaining about price? Well, I think everybody's going to be surprised nonetheless in the not so distant future. So have a great day. Show your love below. Let me know your thoughts. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.